Hello there. Yes, we are Geeks Assembled, and we have gathered here again. Yes, once again, we've just done Power of the Daleks, and now we're going to do the Box of Delights with Patrick Troughton, a BBC series. So let's see. Let's start off with Susan, actually. Go ahead, Susan. What do you think about Box of Delights?
It was quite amazing, quite magic, fun. I love how it was a 6-part story, full of jeopardy and cool special effects, and this kid getting to really be empowered. I love empowered children. That's just brilliant. And Patrick Troughton's character was even more out there. No, I can't. Okay, he was a different kind of out there than the Doctor, and I just think the world of Patrick Troughton. I really do. I love how he's got such a depth. He's such a good actor. He's just a good actor on all fronts, and I love that. That sort of amazing little gimmick or transportation device that the Box of Delights was. It really could help. It was pretty amazing. And the other thing that I loved is the time travel in this story. That was really amazing. And I love that I love all the other kids, and how our main boy interacted with all of them, and let's see, the baddies were kind of a little. It always seemed like they were a little buffoony, but then the circumstance and situation became more the bad guy. Even though these two blokes were had this evil plan, it was actually the circumstance and the situation that got the better of everybody. And I like the atmosphere, and my friend Tim from Texas said that it was a product of his time, 70s, 80s kind of magic television, and so that was true. Anyway, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
An 8.5 out of 10. Thank you, Susan. Now let's go up north in England. And let's go to that delightful place they call Hull. Yes, with Lee. Go ahead, Lee. Have you heard about that lie?
Right, no comment. First of all, I will channel our friend Craig with his reviews. He can't be here today. He's got the dreaded lurgy. He's suffering from a yeast infection, apparently. So, I will do his review. He sent it to me. It's a short and sweet one, but here we go. It says, the music in this reminded him of the era of the Fifth Doctor Who stories, which is no surprise because it was Radiophonic Workshop what did it. He said it was sweet animation of the deer and the phoenix. He liked that. He said the two nonce vicars sort of weirded him out for some reason. He said, but he got over that, and he said, great performances from Patrick Troughton. He says he didn't even realise it was him until halfway through, and he said the locations in this were fantastic. He said he wasn't so keen on the fake snow effects. I don't know about, because there was quite a lot of real snow there as well. But he said Kushti, he gave it a 7. So that's Craig's little review. Down to mine. I remember this when it originally was broadcast in 1984, and I absolutely loved this. It was the build up to Christmas of '84. This sort of broadcast it in November up to December. And you got the Christmas feel of it. It was just brilliant. It was a boy's adventure tale with magic, fantasy and magic, with Patrick Troughton as Cole Hawlings, the Punch and Judy man, who's 700 years old, and with the way his hair and his wild beard and that immaculate costume he had under his ragged jacket. I loved that. His little box of delights with the magic. And the other character I loved in this was Abner Brown, played by the brilliant Sir Robert Stevens. He was evil all the way through. I just loved him. He could have been a brilliant master in Doctor Who, I think. It was the animation was brilliant. The scene where he was travelling with Hen and they were turning into different animals, that was just pure magic. And then you get the costumed animals like the mouse. Okay, you know it's a guy in a costume, but it is a children's classic, this. And for me, you get all the adventure at the end with the flying, the shrinking. You get all the choir boys being locked away in the dungeons in the tower with the Archbishop, and just so Abner Brown is looking for that box for the power, the magic and the power he holds. And of course, he gets his comeuppance in the end from his henchman. There is one thing what isn't sort of explained in it is head. I don't know where that part came from. It wasn't really explained, but the character Head on that stand just talking, I don't know, I didn't understand that. But apart from that, it's always been in the back of my mind, this one, and it's always stuck with me, this classic. All in all, good performance, brilliant actors in this. It's a Christmas story told well. I'm giving it a 9.5.
A 9.5, thank you, Lee. And I'd like to say, get well soon, Craig, because having parasitic yeast is not fun, and especially where Craig's got it. So let's go to Connor and see what Connor thinks. Not about Craig's parasitic yeast, but about the box of delights. Go ahead.
Well, I hope he can make bread with that yeast. Anyway, on to the review.
All he needs is a bit of flour.
Yeah,
Throw it all up. Bash it down. It could be the new Paul Hollywood. Oh, a Great British Bake Off here, isn't it? Great British Bake Off with Craig and his parasitic yeast. Come on.
Oh.
Lee could be his Mary Berry. Yeah, let's before we go into chaos, Connor, continue.
Yeah, Christ. This was a bit slow, but Patrick Troughton, what a bloody fantastic actor. Like, outside of even Doctor Who, he's just amazing. He really made this for me, really, made it. I've never enjoyed a performance more from a doctor outside of Doctor Who. Maybe apart from Malcolm Tucker with Peter Capaldi, than this with Patrick. I like the fantastical sort of aspects of it. And as Susan said, the villains are a bit pantomime, but because it's Christmas time, it doesn't really bother me, because with all Christmas things that are based around Christmas, you can't really take it seriously anyway, because it's just sort of like a sort of time of fantasy and wonder and all. That's just what Christmas is, especially for children. So it didn't really bother me. You've got characters like Herne the Hunter and stuff, and it's just it's a whole world of magical sort of things, and the animation, the little inclusion of animation is great. Robert Stevens, as Lee mentioned, is sort of the main second actor that really impressed me in this. I think Patrick Troughton and Robert Stevens are the two that really shone in this the most. I think there's not an awful lot more I can say. I think overall, because I enjoy fantasy, and this is sort of a very sort of non-serious sort of fantastical, bit Narnia-esque, actually. That's one thing that I did sort of grab from it, is that it's quite Narnia-esque. I think I'll have to give this a 7.5 out of 10.
A 7.5. Thank you, Connor. And being Connor, you have to enjoy a bit of fantasy, don't you? And let's go over to Beef Dad, to Germany, to Beef Dad. Go ahead, Beef Dad.
Well, the Box of Delights, I remember watching it. It was one in a long series of magical children's stories that the BBC were absolutely brilliant at doing. They really are. They were known for doing those brilliant children's fantasy stories, like the Sand. I can't remember his name. The Sand Creature, the Sand Fairy. They did many children's stories brilliantly. Actually, Devin Stanfield, who played Kay Harker, right, the young boy in this, I thought held it together brilliantly. Because you have to remember that Patrick Troughton was only in 3 episodes out of the 6. And the boy held it together brilliantly. And yes, Patricia Quinn, later to go on to do Rocky Horror Show, as Sylvia Daisy Pouncer, the girlfriend of the of the Nasty, played by Robert Stevens. She was super, absolutely super. Of course, the Bishop of Tatchester, played by John Horsley. Now, you couldn't have a bishop at that time unless it was played by John Horsley. I can't remember how many times I've seen him play a bishop. It's just him. The old lady, she was in 3 episodes. Anne Dyson, brilliant classical actress, an absolutely top television actress. There were so many people in this who went on to do films, become stars. I absolutely loved it. And that whole massive bunch of choir boys you saw at the very end of it, they are actually choir boys. They were all from Hereford Cathedral. Bless them. But yeah, it's great. And just for the magic of it, for the magic of Christmas, and for the magic of the BBC doing these things so brilliantly, for me, it gets a 10.
A 10. Thank you, Beef Dad. Now, I guess I'm going to be a bit of a negative Nelly on this one. Because personally, I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it. I mean, Patrick Troughton is very, very good. He is very, very good in this. I watched episode 3, so I watched 3 episodes. I like the opening with the steam train. Is that the Flying Scotsman, isn't it? Yeah, that was brilliant. I love steam trains. I adore steam trains. So that was good. Actually, the Flying Scotsman was down here recently when they filmed The Crown with Matt Smith. If I'd known, I would have gone and see the Flying Scotsman, because the railway track that it was on is only 5 minutes down the road, literally, 10 minutes. So I could have gone down. So I'm a bit upset about that.
You wouldn't have gone to see Matt Smith?
Well, I would have gone to see the Flying Scotsman, because they filmed some of the, the railway scene on there with the Flying Scotsman. So anyway, back to this. Yeah, Sylvia of Bad Girls is on this. Body Bag. She's in this. She plays the maid. She's great in everything that she does. But I don't really have much to add about it, really. I don't really know what to give it because I don't, I only watched 3 episodes and I just couldn't get into it. But I know that people enjoy it and that it's a good series. It just didn't grab me. Do you know what I mean? Just didn't grab me. So, do you know what? I'm going to give it a 6. I think that's a fair score. I'm going to give it a 6. So I'm going to throw the floor open to whoever wants to speak. If anybody does.
Well, it was delightful to have a bit of magic for with a Christmas.
Get enough magic on Once Upon a Time. Should be watching Once Upon a Time.
All magic comes with a price. No,
it does. Yeah. When I heard we were doing this, the Box of Delights, because I'd obviously never seen it before. I thought it had something to do with chocolates. When you think of about a Box of Delights, you think of chocolates. Cadbury.
And isn't that a very British tradition to give a box of chocolates for a box of sweets for Christmas?
Yes, that's why we're all fat and have diabetes.
What?
Oh.
You're living in a very different Britain than I am.
There's a very thin fellow, never mind.
I'm living in Brexit Britain.
I'm living in Boris Johnson Britain.
Anyways, getting back to the cast.
I'm living in Germany now.
I like this is the time setting of this. It's all jolly old England and tea and scones. It's what you're going to say, Alid?
I was going to say it reminded me of Narnia. It did remind me of Narnia.
It was, I think, written around the same time as Narnia. This is a sequel to the author's first book, The Midnight Folk, but that's never. I don't think that's never been made into a TV adaptation. The same character appears in that one, the young kid, Kay Harker. I think it's quite an enjoyable thing. The set in the era of it is just, as you say, the steam train. It's all the way the people talk back then, all posh. It did, and as it builds up, finally, to the Christmas mass in the cathedral. It's just pure magic.
It's the magic that the BBC have always managed to put into the big children's television programs for Christmas. They always used to do something magical like this leading up to Christmas. They did it for very, very, very many years, from when I was a child, really. But yeah, it's something that they can do. Like period drama is also the other thing that the BBC are brilliant at. Absolutely love their period kids programs, particularly when they sort of bring it into the Victorian era or something like that. That's that's the genius of the BBC.
The good thing as well is it's supposed to be a children's show, but it's so dark in places.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when Abner Brown's there, and he's the henchman and Rat. It's
but
dark
can you imagine the joy and laughter from the kids when he turns head upside down and leaves him upside down? That is just magic.
So, and that's where he was left while the water was flooding the chambers.
I mean, that put humour in it for the kids and made it less frightening. I mean, the whole thing was originally written by John Masefield, who was the poet laureate from about I think it was 1930 to 1966 when he died. Yeah. And everybody knows who John Masefield is. Sea fever?
Yeah.
I must go down to the sea again, to the lonely sea in the sky. I left my vest and socks there. I wonder if they're dry.
You're amazing, Beef Dad. You're just amazing.
He is amazing. We're lucky to have him here.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to add about the Box of Delights? No?
I'm just surprised that Hollywood hasn't got hold of this and ruined it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, no, you've jinxed it now. Because they're going to listen to this cast, you know. They're going to watch this cast, and it's all going to be your fault, Lee.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Don't we get more of an apology than that? Lackluster.
What else are we reviewing in this Christmas spirit for the next bit of time?
Brandy. That's a Christmas spirit.
Yes.
We could review brandy.
Hot chocolate.
I'll be getting pissed on some cider this Christmas.
And no one will notice the difference, Connor.
Good one. Love it.
Oh, that was a good one. But does anybody else have anything to add about the Box of Delights? No? No, I think that's it. That's a lot. We're all off to Craig's house because I hear he's got his loaf ready for us. We're all going to give it a try.
Oh.
I'd like to thank everybody here for joining me. I'd like to thank you for watching. Don't forget to tell us what you think about the Box of Delights. Hit that subscribe button. Look after yourself. Take care. And we'll see you next time.